Hello all, welcome to my channel. I am Vivek Gaurav and I'll be teaching you dynamic programming. And before we proceed further, a humble request from my side. Please like and subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon so that you get notified every time a new video is coming up. Now, let's get started. In this video, we are going to talk about some more string functions, and the topics for today is that Python string function, example and hands-on. So once again, I'll suggest you that you stop the video from time to time and do the hands-on with me. So now let's proceed further. So the first function for today is that ends with. So now Python ends with method returns true of the if the string ends with the specified substring, otherwise it returns false. Okay, so if the string ends with a specified substring which you have given in this, then it gives you true, otherwise it returns you false. So the signature is that ends with function, then it takes the suffix start and end, and as we know, start and end will going to be an optional thing, right? So suffix, it is a substring that you give, start is the starting range, end is the ending range. Okay, and start and end both are optional parameter. What it gives you is that, what is the return type of this? The return type of this function is that it is going to give you a true or false. Okay, it is going to give you true or false. So now let us see some example. Okay, so a simple example which returns true because it ends with a dot. Here you see, here we have str is equal to hello, this is Vivek Gaurav, and we ended it with a dot. And now we are taking a variable as ends equal to str dot ends with, and then we are checking is it ending with a dot. And then if I try to print this variable where we have taken that value, it is going to give me true. Why? Because it is ending with a dot. So let me go over there and write the code for you. So str1 equal to this is Vivek Gaurav, and I put a full stop there, and then I am writing as ends equal to str1 dot ends with. Okay, and I am writing dot over there, and then if I try to print as ends, okay, and then it is going to give me a boolean value. You see, it is going to give me true. Why? Because it is ending with a dot. In case if I remove this dot, then what it is going to give me? It is going to give me false, because now it is not ending with a dot. Okay, so that's how the ends with function works. Okay, in the second example, we saw that we have put a dot over there, but now I am checking is it ending with is, and of course the answer is going to be false, which we have already checked, right? So ends with, it checks whether the string ends with a particular character that you are providing in the parameter part. Okay, how about with the other parameters? So here we are providing the start index of the range from where the method starts searching. So here, hello, this is Vivek Gaurav, and then is ends is equal to str dot ends with is comma 10. So from the 10th character onward it is going to start. So from the 10th character onward, if it is going to start, then it is going to give me false, because you see 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and then 10, right? So from the 10th character onward there is nothing at the end which is ending with, right? So that is the reason it is going to give me false. So let me go over there and write this. Okay, and here what I will do is that here I will put here, let me search with, okay, let me do dot over there, and here also I'll put a dot. So now if I run this code, okay, if I run this code, you see it is giving me true. But let's suppose if I write 4 starting with 4, then this also is going to give me true, because even if it is starting with 4, it is ending with that. Okay, but if I write something like 40, which does not have, now you see it is giving me false, because it does not have a length 40, right? Otherwise if I write there is or something, now you see again it is going to give me false. Here if I keep 4 also, then it is going to give me false, because it is not ending with is. Okay, it is ending with a dot that is there. Okay, so that's how the ends with function works. The next is that with all the three parameter. Okay, so now here you see, hello, this is Vivek Gaurav, we are starting with is. Okay, we are searching for is starting at 0 and ending at 13, and in between do you find like it is finding 13 there. So right, like you see, hello, this is. Okay, so what we are doing here is that 0 1 2 3 4 and then 5 and then 6 7 8 9 and then 10 and then 11 and then 12 and then 13, right? So when I am writing 13, is it ending with that? Let us check that. Okay, so here what I will do is that, hello, this is Vivek Gaurav I am writing, and then what I will do is that I will not search for, okay, let me start with 4, but let me end it at 7 and let's see. Okay, sorry, not like that. Let me start at 4 and let me end it at 7, and now you see Is it giving me true? Yes, it is giving me true. Why it is giving me true? Try to understand that. So what I wrote here is that I wrote this is, and then Vivek Gaurav, that is not required though, because we are ending at 7th index only. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and then this space is 4, then this is 5, then this is 7, then sorry, 0 1 2 3, 0 1 2 3, then the space is 5, then I is space is 4, I is 5, S is 6, and then the space, this is space is 7. Okay, so now you see what it is, what I did. I gave the starting index as 4, so it is starting from this position and then it is ending at 7. So 7th anyway is not inclusive, we have already seen that, right? So it is ending with S in this case, that is the reason it is giving you true. If I put anything other than that, okay, if I put anything, let's suppose if I just write S over there, then also it is going to give me true. But if I write I over there, then it is going to give me false. Right? So this is how the ends with function works. It starts at a particular point, it starts taking from a particular index, it stops at a particular index, the stopping index is not inclusive, and in case it ends with that particular character which you have specified as the first parameter, then it returns you true, otherwise it returns you false. Okay, the next method that we have is find. Now Python find method finds substring in the whole string and returns index of the first match. Okay, so it is basically a searching method, and it returns you the first index, the first occurrence of that. In case the string does not found, it returns you -1. So here see the signature, find, sub, which is the substring, start, which location you want to start searching, end, which location you want to end, and return type, it returns it, if found, it returns index of the substring, otherwise it returns -1 as the value. Okay, so let us see some example over here. So here you see welcome to coding, this is the str, and then we are trying to find str.find the. So do you have the in this? Of course you have the here, right? So it is going to give you the index of that, the index is 11. So let us go there and write the code. So here I will change it and I'll write find, and I'll try to find I, where I'm finding I. So what is the first occurrence of my I? 0 1 2, so it should give me 2. Okay, that is going to give me, and here I will change it to occurrence. Here I'll change the variable name is, and does not look good there, right? So here you see it is going to give me 2. Why? Because THI 0 1 2, right? So that is the reason it is giving me. If I write S, it is going to give me 3. See, it is going to give me 3. Okay, if I write is the whole substring itself, then it is going to give me 0 1 2 3 4 5. It is going to give me 5. Let us check that. It is going to give me, okay, wait, I did not save the file, I guess. Okay, now also it is okay. See here itself we are finding is here itself 0 1 2 in the second index we are finding it, right? I was looking at this, but I ignored this part, this. Okay, so there also we are getting it. So that is the reason it is giving me is. Going to the next one, so -1. Okay, let us try to find something which is going to give us -1. So let me try with off. Okay, do we have off in this? No. So now you see it is giving you -1. Let us try to find with an with a character x, a single character. X is also not there, so for x also it is giving you -1. So it gives you -1 when the string is not found, when the substring is not found. Otherwise it gives you the index, the first index. Remember, the first index. It does not check the multiple occurrence of that. Okay. Then let us specify the other parameter also, the start parameter. So here welcome to the Vivek, or welcome to the Python, whatever you want to write, and str2 is equal to str.find t. Okay, so when I write t, where is the first t coming? The first t is coming here, right? So it gives you the index, and then t comma 25. Now what is this? This is the start index. This is the start index. Right, now do you have 25 in this? No. So it will, if you start from like something which is not the actual, what you say, which is not the actual length of the string, then anyway it is going to give you false, right? -1. So here let me start with 3, and then you check what do I get. This time I should get 4. Okay, this, okay, x, I let us search what with is, then it should give me 5, right? So 0 1 2 3 4 and then 5. Why it is not in, why I did not include this? Because I gave the starting index. Okay, let me write there 7 and then try to search for it, then you see I'll get -1, because 7th index onward there is no is over there, right? There is no is over there. That is the reason it is giving us -1. So the next one where we are using the ending also, starting index and the ending index. Ending index is not inclusive. Let us go over there and try this out. Okay, so let me find for is starting at the second location, okay, 0 1 2, or starting at the third location and ending at the fifth location. Ending at the fifth location, do I find here is, you see, -1. Why -1? Because when I am writing this is, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. So what I gave, I started searching from third character. I started searching at third character, and fifth character I ended. Fifth character I ended. So in between there is no is. Okay, let us try to change this as 6. Okay, let us try to change this as 6 and see, do we get that as index? Then also it is not giving you. Why? Because upper limit is not inclusive. If I put 7, then in between 3 and 7 it is going to find is 1 there at the 5th and 6th location, right? So it should give me 5 there. It should give me 5. So if I put there 7, then it is going to give me 5. You see, it is going to give me 5. Understood? So always remember that in any of the function where there is an upper limit also, the upper limit is always exclusive, that is not included in that. Okay, the computer will stop there, it will not take that into consideration. Okay, so that was all about find, where we have tried with all the 3 parameters. The next method that we have is the format. Now we have already seen this method before, but let us try to understand this in more detail. So Python format method is used to perform format operation on a string. If you want to format certain string, you can use that. And while formatting a string, a delimiter, which is like, curly bracket or braces, is used to replace it with the value. Okay, and this delimiter can contain index or positional argument. Okay, so what is the signature for this format? And then you pass the argument, and kwargs, argument is the substring that you want to replace, and kwargs is the start index arrange. Okay, what it returns? It returns your formatted string. Let us have a look at the example. So we have str is equal to Java and str2 is equal to C#, and then we have str3 where we have given the delimiter, bracket and bracket, both are programming language, and after that dot format str comma str2. So what is str? Java. And what is str2? C#. So Java is going to come over here, this will replace by Java, and here it will come C#. Okay, let us try to do this. So here what I will do is that here I will change it to like, Vivek. Okay, and I'll put there, I'll put another one, str2 equal to Gaurav. Okay, and here what I will do is that str3 equal to, and here I will give bracket. Okay, and bracket are the name of the same person. Okay, so now after that I'll write format, and here what I will do is that here I will write str1 comma str2. Okay, and then if I try to print str3, now you see what do I get. Okay, can you see Vivek and Gaurav are the name of the same person? I'm getting this as the output. Why I'm getting this as the output? Because the first delimiter, what it did is that it's created a space, then and came, and then the second one also created a space, and after that all these things appeared. Now dot format str1. What is str1? Vivek. So it replaced this one with Vivek. The first one with the first space, second one with the second space, Gaurav here. Okay, now this is how it works. Now there is one important thing which you should know, that the moment you give a space in between, it is not going to work out. See, you are going to get an error. Okay, you are going to get an error. So make sure that when you are giving the delimiter, you are not giving any space in between. Okay, it should run without a space, then it will work absolutely fine. Okay, so that was all about the format function, one example. Let us look at the other example. Now delimiter braces are using numerical index to replace the format string. What we can do is that we can give indexing also, like 1 and 0. Now what will happen is that this is 0, this is 1. So str2 will come in this place and str will come in this place. So what is str2? C# and Java. So here C# will come and here Java will come. So if you want to change the position, we're using positional argument, you can give that as well. How that is going to work? Here you write 1, here you write 0, right? And then if you write, it should give you Gaurav and Vivek are the name of the same person, which earlier you were getting as Vivek and Gaurav. Okay, so this is how you can change the position also. Now going ahead from here and looking at the third example. So formatting numerical value in different number system. Okay, numerical value, how to format the numerical value. So see here we have taken val equal to 10, which is a decimal value. Then we are printing decimal and then using the delimiter 0:D. Now D stand for decimal value.
okay, and we write dot format val, the value which we want to format. Then we are printing in hexadecimal 0 colon x, octal is 0 comma o, and binary is 0 comma colon b. So let us go over there and write something like this, val equal to, let's go with 5, and here we will write print decimal value is, okay, and I'll put here 0 colon d, and I'll put the delimiter, and here I will write dot format, and here I will write val, okay, val. And now what I will do is that I'll copy this line to save the time, okay. So here it will become hexadecimal, okay, I will write hexadecimal, okay, instead of hexa I wrote dexa and here I will make it binary, and here I'll make it as octal, okay, here I'll make it as octal, okay. And here for hexadecimal it should become what? It should become x, for binary it should become b, and for octal it should become o. I hope I am giving the right one. Let us check that. So can you see decimal value is 5, decimal is 5 because we gave the value as 5 only. Hexadecimal is coming as also 5, okay. Binary is coming as 101 and octal is coming as 5. Now let us try to change the value to 10, then we should see some different thing. Okay, now you see decimal is coming as 10, hexadecimal is coming as a. Why hexadecimal is coming as a? Because in hexadecimal you have something like this: 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then a comes into picture. Okay, so that is the reason you are getting a over there. For binary, if you convert 10 into binary, you will get 1010, and octal it becomes octal, it is like I believe 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 only is there. Okay, after that the things changes. Okay, so that is the reason it is coming like that. Let us match with the output that we have over there. So 10 8 12 1010, 10 8 12 1010, are we getting the same thing? 10 8 10 8 12 1010, yes, we are getting the same thing, right? So this is how. So remember that for decimal what you have in the delimiter, you have 0 colon d, okay, this is for decimal, okay. For hexadecimal, for hex you have 0 colon x, and for octal you have 0 colon o, okay, and for binary you have 0 colon b, okay. This is for binary, this is for octal, okay, remember that part. Let us try to put h instead of x. Now let us try to put h and then see what happens. Okay, let us try to put h and see what happens. It is giving you error because unknown format code, okay. So unknown format code will come if you are using something which doesn't have a value. So now proceeding further. So Python string format example 4. Now formatting float and percentile in string is pretty easy. Let us suppose that you have a value which is having so many zeros in it. 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. How many zeros are there? 2 and then 2 and then 2 and then 8. 8 0 after 1. Okay. Now if you want to put comma into that, what you can do is that print decimal colon and then delimiter, and after colon you put a comma. So what it is going to do is that it is going to put comma between the numbers. The second number, let's suppose you have this multi division which you have, this division you have, and you want to print only up to 2 places of decimal, only up to 2 places of decimal. Then what you should do is that after colon you are putting 0.2%. So what it is going to give you is that it is going to give you 2 places of decimal. Okay, let us try to see this as an example. Okay, so let me delete this part and put this many 0, and here what I will do is that here I'll write print, and here I'll write decimal value is, okay, and I'll put a delimiter, I'll put a colon, and I'll put a comma over here, and here after this I'll write format, and here what I will do is that I'll write val. Let us run this and check. Can you see comma got included here? If I'll directly print val, then nothing will come, then nothing will be there. Okay, then nothing will be there. You see, now nothing is there. We are just getting there like this. Okay, if I give this also decimal value is, and put double quote over there, okay, I should remove dot and put comma over there. If I run this, see, now nothing is there, but with the format I can insert a dot there. Let us suppose that we have a value which is val equal to, okay, val equal to 556 divided by 9, okay, and then try to print val. Print val now see what we get. So we are getting how many places of decimal? These many places of decimal. We do not want that many places. So what I should do is that print value up to two places of decimal, places of decimal is okay. And what I will do is that here I'll give like this, I'll put a colon, I'll put 2, and then I'll put percentage, I'll close the delimiter, and here I'll write format, and here I'll write val. Okay, I hope I have given the correct syntax. Let us run it and check. So can you see we are giving, I'm getting a percentile symbol also. Okay, percentile 0.2f. Let me write 0.2f, then see. Then I'm getting a what you say scientific notation. So here 0.2, and shall I give percentage before? Will it work? Now it is not going to work. Okay, so 0.2 and percentile. So this what it is giving you is that it is giving you two places of decimal. Okay, 0.2 percentile, and here if I'll run this, so now you see we are getting up to 3 places of decimal, right? So this is how it works, and we understood that part. Okay, so we are getting up to 2 places of decimal, and we can get a percentage symbol also if you want, right? This percentage symbol that we were getting, that also if you want, like if you have a percentage, you want to calculate the percentage, you can get that also, right? So this is how it works. So formatting a string and percentile is very easy over here, right? You can limit it to up to 2 places of decimal. Okay, 2 places, 3 places, like that you can delimit. Like here, if you change 3 to 4, it will give you 4 places of decimal. Now you see, it will give you 4 places of decimal along with the percentage symbol. If you want only one, then what it's going to give you is that it is going to give you only 1 places of decimal along with the percentage symbol. Okay, so this is how it works. And if you remove the percentile, then what you get something decimal format, some scientific notation, 6e plus 01, like that. Okay, so that's how it works. I hope the things are clearer to you now. Okay, so formatting float and percentile, we already tried that, how to do that. Okay, now let's go ahead. The next method is the index method. So Python index method is the same as the find method, except that it returns error on failure. Okay, so index method is the same as find. What find was doing, it was finding in the occurrence of a particular substring and giving you the first index, right, where it is occurring. Now index method is also the same thing, except that in failure, where finding was returning -1, it returns you an error. Okay, so this method returns index of the first occurred substring and an error if there is no match found. So the signature is index, sub, start and end. Parameter is substring, the starting and the ending, both are optional, starting and endings. Okay, return type, if found it returns an index of the substring, otherwise an error. Okay, let us see an example. You see, calling str is equal to welcome to the coding, and str2 is equal to str.indexdi. Do we have di over here? Yes, we have di. So it is giving you the index. So let us go over there and try this out. Okay, so here I will write str1 is equal to welcome to the coding. Okay, and here I will try to find str2 equal to str1.index. Okay, and what I'm trying to find di. Okay, and here I will write print and str2, and if I run this code, what I'm getting is that str take at least one argument, 0 given, str1.index, it should be. Now you see it is giving me 17, right? It is giving me 17. Why? Because 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. It is starting at 17th index. Okay, so that is how it works. Let us try to find something which does not exist over here. Let us try to find something called x does not exist. Now you see what you are getting, substring not found, value error, substring not found. But if I'll use here find, then I'll not get this error. Then I'll get, I'll get what? I'll get you. Let me use the same thing. Okay, here. Okay, sorry. Let me just make this. So with index, you already saw how it works. Now you see with find, you see -1 is coming. So that is the difference between find and index. Okay, that is the difference between find and index. Going ahead. So we already saw that if we are trying to find something which does not exist, you are going to get a value error, that substring not found. Okay. Then the third example, we can also part the start and the end index as parameter to make the process more customized. Okay, so you can start at a particular index and you can end at you can stop at a particular index. Always remember that the ending is not inclusive. Okay, so let's suppose I'm trying to find, you know what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find 2, okay, and I'm starting from 10th location, I'm going till 20th location, 23rd location. Do we have there? See it, I'm getting value error, substring not found. If I make this as 5, then I should get. If I make this as 5, then I'm getting at the 8th index I'm getting. So now I'm starting from the 5th index and going till 23rd index. 23 is not included. Okay, 23 is not included. So this is how you can give the starting and the ending. Okay, so the other one is that here we can also pass the start and end index as the parameter to make it more customized. So you pass the starting index and you pass the ending index, and if it exists you will get the index. If it does not, you will get the value error. Okay, so that's all in this video. In this video we covered about a few more string function. In the next video also we'll continue talking about more string functions. Thank you so much.